This is a special Sporting Chance podcast announcement. We have done a t-shirt collaboration with artist Brett Rees of Devils of Dirt Hawking. You have a limited window to buy this shirt. Pre-orders end September 14th. Check it out at devilsofdirthawking.brettrees.com. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Sporting Chance podcast. Be sure to check out sportingchancepod.com for all your flyest new Sporting Chance pod merch. If you're anything like me, you struggled for a while trying to find a source for performance canines. Well, look no further. Check out Clover Creek Canine on Facebook for your performance canine needs. For your East Coast and micro hawking needs, hit up mountainstatefalconrysupply.com. If you want to be cool like me this hunting season and fly a parent-reared goshawk, there's virtually no other source but our boy Seth Roy. Go to northmountaingoshawks.com to put your deposit down on next year's hunting partner. And while you're at it, go ahead and put an order in with the King of Tight, Richard Moats, maker of the tightest braided equipment at midnightfalconry.com. Okay, everybody, welcome to the Sporting Chance podcast. Today we are joined by special guest, NAFA, that's right, NAFA, Southeast Director, Tyler Rankin. Tyler, welcome to the pod.
Hey, Aaron, thanks for having me.
Great to have you on.
Thanks, Casey.
So you walked straight into the lion's den with
already
the realest cats in the jungle.
Are you?
That's right.
Is that even a question?
Listened to this plenty of times.
That's a statement. So, Tyler, we're just going to get this out of the way. This is going to be a friendly conversation because you and I, we go back several years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I consider you a really good Southeast director. You've always been responsive and helpful to me as I've been a NAFA member for pretty much my entire falconry career. And you've always been a stand-up dude. But it's no secret that on this podcast we have we think fairly been critical of NAFA and our perceptions of it. What do you have to say to that?
Well, you and me, we first met at the NAFA meet, I think, in Kansas.
Kansas, yeah,
in 2019, I think. And that was really kind of when I started, really, that was my first introduction to. That was my first NAFA meet. That's the first time I had been out there.
Same here. Yeah,
up to Kansas and stuff, and really enjoyed it. And that was kind of me. Kind of started to get my foot in the door with leadership, and even at a state level, and then kind of within NAFA. That's how a lot of people get involved with the leadership. There is you start kind of volunteering, sign up for these small positions, and then you like it, you learn the ropes, you kind of learn how things are run, and you're kind of asked to do more and step up. But I am currently the NAFA Southeastern Director. There are 10 directors on the board. We each take different regions. So mine is everywhere from northern tip of Kentucky, where I live, all the way to Maryland. I believe Delaware's in the southeast region for some reason, and then all the way down to Florida, and then through Louisiana. So
that's huge.
It's big. It's 13 states.
I didn't realize it was that big of a range that the directors get. That's pretty big.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah. Some get more than others.
We need to educate NAFA on what the South is.
I would think so. I mean, you get Virginia. It's more. I think it's kind of eco-region based a little bit. Maybe, but I mean, there's definitely that break off. You get the central directorate, and then you get mountain, And then it kind of moves, based on longitude, except for the southeast region. Then you got the Great Lakes and the Northeast as well. And then we have a Canadian director and 2 directors at large. So, there's 10 of us.
Dang directors.
A lot of dang directors. Yeah. So it's good. Sometimes it's hard to fill those positions, to find good help and stuff. But we got a really good board on right now, I'd say. When I first joined, it was a lot of old guys. And I'd sit on these board meetings and, everybody would just kind of be sitting on their Zoom, on Zoom cameras like this, just, I don't know, doing something else, braiding gear or, making hoods or, doing leather tooling or something like that. And just, but I don't know, I've met a lot of good people through NAFA, the meets. And, mostly, it's kind of started through, social media and stuff. And you start watching people's content and, make friends with other falconers there. And then you go to a NAFA meet them. I've some of my best friends are, I've met through NAFA. And, but a lot of them, are on the board now. So we have a lot of good, within the past like 3 years or so, we've gotten a lot of good young directors, very knowledgeable, within the state, knowing their state and their regions. And they just, they know a lot. We got this, our new central director, his name's Matt Lash. He runs the Minnesota Falconers Association, but he's brand new this year. And he's been awesome. But like I said, I'm not trying to make this into, a big back and forth debate with you guys about, why NAFA is good or why NAFA is bad and all that stuff. But
well, you obviously think it's good, and I think it's good enough to be a member of. But, I hope that they welcome constructive criticism and feedback.
Absolutely. No, I want that, definitely. I'll tell you one thing. We kind of done in the past year or so. That's really why I kind of wanted to come on is, I heard, I listened to other episodes, kind of heard what was saying. I'm like, that's not exactly what happened, or I didn't know that happened, or, it's a big organization and not everybody keeps like a certain, the same pulse on everything that goes on. But,
how many members are there in NAFA?
There are currently, I want to say between 1,300 and 1,400 members of NAFA.
Are members allowed to join from outside of North America?
Yes. Outside North America, you can join as a foreign member. And we do have a pretty decent foreign membership as well. It just sucks. They got to pay extra if they want their publications mailed to them because shipping's a bitch on those. But normally, we do have a lot of people. We try to keep a good relationship with the IAF out in Europe. We hosted the IAF meet 2 years ago out in Kearney, Nebraska. I unfortunately couldn't make it there, but there was a lot of representatives from different countries there. And everybody in different countries is, they love wild take. They can't believe America has wild take. And it's a big thing. And we kind of, gave a bunch of presentations, got in front of a bunch of different representatives from different countries who have, their falconry regulations are just in their infancy, and just kind of, basically told them how we got, wild take, kind of the history behind that, and, what our regulations state. And so hopefully, that, it made a good impression on them, I think. But,
I think we always want what we can't have. I'm envious of some of the captive laws in pretty much every country but America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How easy it is for falconers to get whatever they want with nobody stepping in their way. You can go buy exotic eagles. You can buy golden eagles that are captive bred, all that.
But like a lot don't have, some still have wild take, but not, I don't think all of them have, Or no, not a lot of them do not have wild take, I should say.
Yeah, I would be happy to just have wild take over being able to buy whatever I want. I think that's more important for the tradition of falconry. But I wish we could have everything, which would be nice.
Absolutely.
So,
No, totally.
so is NAFA actively trying to get? I mean, Aaron, you just we jumped right into the NAFA thing. We didn't want to
dude.
You don't ease into it. Ask the guy, what have you flown? It
doesn't matter. I'm the very special guest. Southeast NAFA
we'll get to all of that stuff. I just wanted to get that out of the way because people are probably like, "Whoa, a NAFA dude's on here."
Yeah, well, you got to string them out. You got to make sure they listen to the whole episode to get to the good stuff at the end.
Right.
The good stuff is to come.
Yeah, you got to wait for the Harris Hawk stuff's going to be at the end. I was just going to click off.
I want to say something.
Just kidding.
Tyler, you posted. I posted this really beautiful tooled leather bag that somebody in Slovakia or some shit made, and it had Harris Hawks on it. And I posted on Facebook, I shared it, and then you commented. You were like, "It's a shame it's got Harris Hawks on it, and it's apparently only fit to pick up trash or something, or fit to hold trash."
Too bad the only thing you can put in that is trash. Yeah,
dude, that had me dying.
I love shitting on Harris Hawkers, even though I am one. So
yeah. Well, so
it's fun.
Go ahead, Casey.
No, I was just going to say, so if we're just going to start with the NAFA, then we'll just jump right in.
Sure. No, I'm happy to talk about that. Cool. Absolutely. Yeah. No, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's just get it out. We'll just get rid of the elephant in the room right off the bat.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, we don't have any, me personally speaking for myself, Aaron's a dedicated, loyal member. I am not. And it's only because of a technical issue with me being able to renew my membership, which is ridiculous. So is NAFA actively trying to get more members?
Okay. Yeah. Back to is open to constructive feedback. Yes. Actively trying to get more members. That is definitely, a high point in ours. It does, there are funds. We have a budget. We are a membership organization that runs, on an annual budget. And the way that's funded mostly is through membership dues. Our goals and objectives are to, improve and maintain, the status, the high status of falconry that we have in the United States right now. And without that, we're doing that for all falconers, members and non-members. Everybody working on, our teams. Yeah, we're trying to improve falconry for everybody in the United States. We do encourage membership. We submitted a member survey out to the membership about a year ago. Basically kind of had it was an anonymous survey for everybody, just tell us what you think. What are we doing well? What are we not doing well? Communication's the big thing, I think. I've heard people multiple people say, not just you guys, is what is NAFA doing? What's going on with NAFA right now? And there's a fine line you kind of got to walk with communication, I think. Because if you just blast it all the time, hey, we're doing all, this is what we did. We wrote a letter, that kind of little things people are going to get tired of that. But then also kind of just, I think we do need to be more communicative with our membership on actually what is going on. Because there is definitely a lot. Really just how the regulatory landscape is right now. We're not going to get to one day and be like, all right, regulations are perfect. Everything's fine. We don't need to do anything else. Let's just sit back. Stuff's always changing, staff is changing. There's new, in different states, there's new things coming up. There's, people are reading rules, making amendments to, current regulations and everything. And NAFA's job is to really just kind of got to keep a pulse on that. And if it's going to set us back really to how far we've come, as a falconry community, with our falconry regulations we have today, then we kind of need to be, aware of and get on those situations. And that's what I think the membership really needs to know more about, is those kind of efforts that we're making. Not just, posting Facebook videos of, abatement falconers and stuff. We kind of put it into that. I'd really like to see our social media presence kind of pick up. I'd say our membership is mostly guys that are older than the three of us, guys who have been there since before the regulations, took place. They've been there. They saw, kind of what NAFA initially did, that huge press, for all falconers, getting, the the federal regulations in place, the apprentice sponsor system all, in place, helping out with that. But then, our kind of, everybody in our, falconry's always been around for us, it's always been here. And I hope people don't take that for granted. And it's definitely something that, we have fought for, and we've set a pretty high standard for ourselves too. I think I heard somebody mention the other day, what other outdoor activity, I guess, where you're using natural resources, really allows you to do, what falconers can do? What other activity or regulated sport, makes it legal for anybody else just to go take an animal from the wild and take it home with them and train it? It's a pretty big, it's been a big ask. And I think if the wrong people, get into office, things are always going to change. And, even at a state or federal level, and they look at that, then it's, it could be concerning. So really, it's important to kind of keep a pulse on that.
I definitely agree with you, by and large on that. But when you stop and you think about, there's the most conservative states in the country and the most liberal states in the country that have, like California is fully ran by Democrats from the top to bottom. And then
California's got the most falconers too.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And then Texas is fully run by Republicans from the top to bottom. Those states are huge states for falconry.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, hopefully it's politically safe, but there always are, I feel like no political party is really your ally when it comes to anything with natural resources. Because it's run by money and, public opinion. So if the cat moms out there get wind of Casey's crusade against feral cat colonies, maybe they're going to come after him.
Yeah, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of them at all. I have zero fear of them. So is there a budget? Is it an open format with the membership where you can see?
You're so brave, dude.
I'm like a.
What, not afraid of the cat ladies?
Nothing scares me, dude. And to be honest with you, it's funny that you say that, and I say I'm not scared, but if every Fish and Wildlife agency in the entire country is scared of them, then I should probably be scared because they're cowardly scared of them to the point where I did a request to do an interview with New Jersey Fish and Wildlife. I went back and forth with the press lawyer, sent them all my questions, and I mentioned cats in there. And I was real diplomatic and real light. I was coached by a law enforcement officer who's a falconer. And I guess as soon as they read the cats thing, they just didn't answer me, ghosted me. So they're just super cowardly. It's you catch one more thing, then whatever. We don't have to get into it. It's an abomination. But back to NAFA, is it like an open, with the membership? Because it's a nonprofit, obviously, right?
It's a nonprofit, yeah. So we're a membership based organization, nonprofit, 501c7 organization. Different than a C3, I think, is you can't claim tax deductions on donations, I believe. But so there is, there's an annual budget. It's basically, all the money in from the last year is and we're going to put all the money out the next year. We do have some backup, legal fees. A lot of it goes to the publications we send out quarterly. You wouldn't believe how much, that gets expensive. Membership fees, we do reimburse, some directors to travel to, important meetings or conferences that we see benefit of. That's got to get board approval. But there's a lot we do. We get we do a lot of collaboration with the Falconry Fund. So we pair with them on some small grants to further raptor research and conservation. People apply for that as well. But a lot of it goes into the meat. I'd say, we do. The meat every year is it's our big shebang. It's our Catalina wine mixer. We go all out for that. So, I'd say that's, but we definitely spend a lot to make that happen for everybody. And then, make that as well. But I believe, the budget is available online on the website. Meeting minutes are available. all that. So yeah, we try to maintain that transparency as well. Definitely.
That's good. Is there a line item for like member recruitment or anything like that to try to get up? Because I mean, like you said, the social media is pretty, and like just for example, like while we're talking, just to be completely transparent, just break the third wall down completely for the listeners. I went on NAFA's Instagram and looked. It's 2,000 followers, whatever. Not that big of a deal.
When was the last time they made a post?
Dude, they made a post July 1st. Happy Canada Day.
Well, our president's Canadian. We got.
I don't care that he's Canadian. The majority of the members are in America. So how about 3 days later?
It's the North American Falconers Association.
Right, so then how about 3 days later? Happy 4th of July, Independence, that we get the wild take.
There was no 4th of July post?
There was no 4th of July post?
Nope, it was just Hawk Chalk. It says Hawk Chalk,
Oh, man.
So like, I understand the Hawk Chalks cost money. I understand the meat costs money. That stuff is all very important. But in any business, but in any business, your marketing and your, advertising is the most important thing. So like, if no money's being put into that, how are you going to get new members as the members are getting, like you said, their members are older. Mm-hmm. I was a member when I was a kid because my sponsors told me to be. I'd still be a member today if the computer system would work correctly and allow me to re-up my membership. But like, there's tons of kids, tons of new people out there that are getting in every year. And I would go out on a limb. Aaron, what do you think? 90% of them are not NAFA members? All these new kids each year in the last 5 years?
Honestly, I have no idea.
That's what I know about it. Yeah, recruitment's been relied a lot on, just from within. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean, social media is more of a ticket now as far as advertising goes. And I think that really needs to change, within NAFA, definitely. We do need to see some improvement there. And overall communication, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Just because, like my biggest question is like, why should somebody give you money every month to be a member? You know what I mean? Like, it should be kind of explicit. It should be like, not explicit, but it should be clear what you're getting. Like,
it should explicit. Be clear what you're getting. Yeah, you get that.
Casey thinks NAFA should be pornographic.
It should be explicit. No, I'm just saying, like, like, I know it's a good thing to be a member.
Yes.
But like, if another young falconer asked me, well, why are you a member? I'd say, well, it's good to be a member. It's like, yeah, but why? And I probably wouldn't be able to get like, they do this, they fight on our behalf behind the scenes. Like,
I mean, you're supporting an organization that keeps a pulse, on, the preservation and proliferation of falconry. And I know that sounds like kind of a generic answer, but I mean, I think if you are a falconer, because I mean, shit could just change quick. And I've seen it happen in some states, where shit hits the fan and, it's good to have that support there.
But
I think
sorry, Tyler, I'm not holding you responsible because you're part of a big organization. You're one voice amongst many directors, but things have changed since NAFA has existed, some for the worse, right? And
I mean,
like the eagle take, for instance, the thing that I always harp on, eagle take.
Yeah.
There used to be a more liberal eagle take to where within reason, if you wanted to get one, you could go get one, right? And that changed under NAFA.
That changed under NAFA because of NAFA? I really don't know.
Exists. I wasn't a falconer during that, but my sponsor told me about it. Mm-hmm. He didn't, I'm not an expert on the details, but there was a more liberal eagle take. And then we have the take we have now, which my permits guy with the state of North Carolina said, I think their plan is to issue 6 permits next year.
6, yeah. I think it's always 6. Yeah.
So 6 permits nationally.
They were like,
all of that happened with NAFA, being there. NAFA was supposedly, safeguarding falconry for American falconers or North American falconers. Yeah. And that happened. So just, pushing back a little bit against you there which is actually this very subject is what I told you I wouldn't beat you up on.
I know. I was like, don't ask me about eagle take. Yeah, no, it's because I wasn't there. I was not involved with it. I don't know. I really don't know the full story.
It wouldn't have happened if you were there. You would have said,
Exactly.
hell no, you're not taking eagles
I was
from
born
us.
20 years late. That's why that's why it happened.
But
no,
it's not a perfect organization, but it's the biggest one that we have.
I think it's a volunteer organization. I mean, and it's not like, what are you going to get me? Give me more, give me this, give me that. It's more just, I think, the support of, just to maintain really and not take a step back. I mean, we've come this far, and NAFA is basically just keeping a pulse on everything to prevent us from stepping back. I mean, there are issues that do come up. There are still issues, I think, that need to be improved, that can be acted on. But I mean, with our resources and the people that we have, I mean, like I said, we're a volunteer organization. We can only do so much. And a member really shouldn't just like come and be like, okay, I paid my dues, give me Eagle Take now. I mean, it really doesn't work like that. There's, it's going to take some work. And Aaron, I've heard you say it. I mean, if you want to see change, if you, in an organization, I encourage anybody and everybody to, step up and volunteer, bring ideas to the table, and then how you can help. I mean, because it can't be that important to you if you're just going to like hand it off to some organization and be like, all right, well, yeah, call me when it's ready, kind of thing.
I think the opportunities are kind of limited for people to some degree to get involved. You have the directors nationally, and like I guess there's the directors at large. If I wanted to get in, I guess there's 3 opportunities.
You can have my job. You want my job?
I don't. No.
Bob almost did. No, Bob almost had director at large. He backed out.
What's that?
Bob almost ran for director at large, but he backed out, I think.
Bob Pendergrass?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be great. He'd be a great president.
He's a great guy. I love talking to him.
I love Bob. He's like the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
So now is my point, and Casey's point has been for a while, is now is a great opportunity to get some of these things done that we want done, like normalize peregrine take, more liberal eagle take, change the regulations around importing birds of prey into the country. That's just off the top of my head. Those are the ones that kind of jump out as important to me. And with the Trump administration sunsetting the Eagle Protection Act, and I think pulling out on the Migratory Bird Treaty Act and things like that, those are going to happen, right? That's going to happen. So we should, as falconers, we should try and get, we should take opportunity of that and
everything within the government just takes so damn long. It's such a long ass process. And I can definitely speak to you on what NAFA's doing, at least on 2 of the 3-year points. I mean, Eagle Take, we kind of revamped our conservation committee. They're definitely, they have that on their radar, are working on, more liberal Eagle Take permits. I mean, that just, requires getting in front of the right people. The peregrine take, I mean, I don't know how much. I mean, we are close to normalization of peregrine take right now. It's been about a 5-year process, really. I can kind of go through that. So it all, give you guys a brief summary. Basically, it all kind of started when the Fish and Wildlife Service kind of increased their their take permits to the states about 5 years ago. The NAFA kind of started, there was a different administration under NAFA, but NAFA kind of started pushing for more wild take with them. Like, well, if you're going to issue more permits, then, why not, just have wild take. So basically normalization doesn't necessarily mean, carte blanche, everybody can go take as many peregrines as they want to. Basically, normalization means that you are going to turn over the authority for peregrine take to the states and not make it a federal, not make it a federal issue anymore. It can be, it's like taking a red tail now. So that's what we want.
Do you think that would make it easier if states could say, take as many, like if
it's
North
a double-edged
Carolina,
sword. I mean, isn't it? I mean, I guess it depends on the state,
Yeah, because then New York would, if they turn it over to the state, then New York would still just keep the same policies they have, where you can't even own one in the state of New York. Even if somebody in Jersey or Maryland or North Carolina has one, and someone in New York State says, hey, I live right by a beautiful, area I could fly long wings, you can't even own it in the state of New York.
That's crazy.
You can't even possess it. It's crazy. I think you can come in and fly with one, but you cannot have one.
Even a captive bred?
No, you can have a peregrine. Yeah, you can have captive.
Okay.
Yeah, you can have, but any passage you can't have, which is crazy.
So Casey couldn't come to Jersey and legally trap a wild peregrine and then take it back to New York.
No, even if I put in for the lottery and won and got it, I wouldn't even be able to do it. And I had a passage peregrine, and if I moved to New York, I'd have to get rid of it. Otherwise, I'd be in violation, which is crazy. Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's a state. I mean, that's a state issue, really. Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a normalization. Yeah, I mean, you're turning it loose to the states pretty much. So, I mean. Yeah,
and then Connecticut, turn it loose to the states. Connecticut, they can't even trap one single raptor.
You can't even trap wild birds.
You can't even trap anything in the state. You can get a falconry license, then you have to go out of state and get your bird, which is completely asinine. So that's something that's a huge problem.
We're aware of that. Yeah, Jimmy G's been working on that too. He's our Northeast director.
We've been in contact with Jimmy G. He's busting his butt trying to help get that done for them.
No, he's another big asset too. Yeah, our board. Yeah, he just recently joined. So where was I anyway? So in 2023, Brian Millsap, he's very close with NAFA and U.S. Fish and Wildlife. He basically produced this a peregrine falcon population assessment. Published it, peer-reviewed article, and everything. Basically, giving a status update on the current peregrine population in the United States. And he said, I guess basically his paper said you could take 750 to 1,200 peregrines from the wild and still be below that 5% threshold. I mean, Millsap, if you guys have read his, I mean, he's the one who wrote the book on, any wild raptor take, and pretty much is a very
guy.
Strong. Well, he's a strong force behind us having wild take, because he showed that it does not affect the wild population by us taking, birds from the wild. So that's pretty much what he was doing with the peregrine. So I guess with that, the Fish and Wildlife Service was developed. They were going to develop an environmental assessment, which was basically revisiting the listing and the status of the peregrine falcon and its protections, and everything governing that.
Seems like now's the time.
That's there. It's out. NAFA has been pushing. I want to say, Martin, our president, and Heath, I mean, they've been pushing. We're like, you need to release this for public comment. It's there. We know what's because in it says, peregrines are fine, release them. We can, just normalize it. That's probably what it says in this thing. So there were some road bumps along the way. Basically HPAI came up. We had that big scare. It's still out there a couple of years ago. So people are like, wait a second, do we need to revise this EA? They basically now want to open up to public comment, kind of focused more towards avian influenza to see if, people have comments on how avian influenza is affecting the wild peregrine population. If that has any influence over this EA, that's the environmental assessment. I guess when Trump got reelected, he, offered the early retirement packages. So the Raptor Conservation Coordinator, the guy who pretty much runs the whole 3186A website, he took an early retirement. He's gone. He was one of the ones who needed to read and see the EA. And then we had no U.S. Fish and Wildlife Director for a long time. So really that EA could not have moved forward was not going to come out for public comment until the new Fish and Wildlife Director was actually able to read it. So it's like it's been there, and we're just like, we're pushing for it. I mean, NAFA's been pushing for it. We know it's there. We know what it says. You need to, move this forward. The first step would be to get it out for public comment, and then you get the clock ticking. Once it's out for public comment that long, then you can basically release it. So we've been told, it's there. It's close for release. So now we have a new U.S. Fish and Wildlife Director, Brian Nesbitt. So NAFA's currently, we're trying. I mean, he's been in office, 2 weeks now. We are trying to get a hold of his office to get an audience with him to basically bring forward this, EA, just be like, put this out for public comment to get this moving for peregrine wild take. You have to fill out a 4-page form to even get in front of this dude. in his office. It's crazy. Like just all the stuff, like just to
He's
even
got a lot of
be heard.
cat ladies bothering him.
Everybody filling out their 4-page form. So that's kind of where we stand. That's what I've been. I've not been directly involved with that. I mean, I went to a flyway council meetings and stuff in Louisville earlier this year. Listen in on that, and but
how about that?
That's kind of where we are. Was it? Somebody told me. What'd you say?
I said, I bet that was a real hoot.
A real totally. It was more about ducks, which I love ducks, but
Casey
not
likes
as much
ducks.
about raptors. So that's kind of where we are with that. No, it's been a long time coming. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But
now's the time.
No one knows. Mm-hmm.
We got about 3 years because these people that are in there right now don't give a fuck. So
totally. It's just get out there. So we got some people. I'm not one of them who are very connected, politically, and just keep a pulse, on the. We have our legal counsel, our technical advisory committee, our conservation committee. Everybody's kind of keeping a pulse on that and knows the right people to talk to. So
you know what, Casey, maybe if APAC wanted us to have eagles and peregrine falcons, we could get something done.
Who knows? I don't know. All I know is that we have a falconer on the inside, but I don't know how much he's doing on our behalf. But I know NAFA did do a white paper, they call it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
they've done a couple. Yeah.
James drafted that, and that was basically, I don't want to use the word demand, but it was basically a demand of all the regulations that we want changed, the things opened up, stuff like that. And James put that all together. I
don't know about. I know there was an issue. I can't remember if it was New York or somewhere in the Northeast where a falconer was getting threatened to take his birds away because he wasn't flying 2 transmitters on a hybrid Gauss.
Wamo Jang.
I'm sorry, he was not on hybrid Gauss. That was the issue.
Our game,
right?
That was a friend of the show.
It's a cross
and rapper. Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, it's he had just a 50-50 albitus fin,
right?
And
it's a cross. It's not a hybrid.
Well,
that's what the white paper said. Right. It's not a hybrid. It's not like a peregrine. It's not,
No, it's the same speed. It's the same genus, I guess. And the U.S. is not recognizing it as a separate thing. Otherwise, every nature center would have Siberian goshawks grabbing people's faces. So they're reluctant to change it. So we kind of already knew that was not going to go anywhere. And I was in communication with William during that process. He was very scared. And unfortunately, he did spend quite a bit of money on a lawyer. But NAFA did come to the rescue, and they gave their opinion to the prosecutor, and the whole thing was thrown out.
Yep.
$2,500 later for the poor kid.
That sucks.
Just because, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is just all this makes sense to us, all this should make, but we are such a small blip, on the radar to our regulators, even just local game wardens, the Fish and Wildlife Service, state, federal, falconry is like this much, and a lot of it's left up to interpretation, I think. There's these old written laws that, maybe don't make sense, and people are going to interpret them differently. And you get shit like that. I dealt with something down in Tennessee, a couple of years ago, similar situation where it was just a gross misunderstanding of the regulations. And, NAFA, did the same thing. Their legal counsel wrote in. This was a non-member who kind of, brought it to the table and needed it. A non-member so much that people said this person should never be a member. But because it was threatening falconry in the state of Tennessee, then it was obviously an issue for NAFA, because, you don't want that precedent to be set, in certain states.
That's probably what's going on with Casey's technical error as he's trying to join NAFA, is they just have his IP address blocked or something.
I'm just flagged in the system when I type in any email. They say, "Oh no, you're already a member. Sorry." You have to do it in person. No, it's a technical thing, and Lauren tried to reset it for me, but it still didn't work.
I can try to mess around with it for you. I started out as assistant membership secretary first, but Lauren's the guru on it. Unfortunately, she's going to be on a bit of a leave here for a bit, maternity leave. So
that reminds me, is there a standard of conduct for NAFA members online?
Yeah, I mean, we have a board policy manual, which basically kind of outlines the, responsibilities, the role, the process, like the procedures and the process, and just your standard of conduct.
But I mean, how they conduct themselves online, how they're
encouraged, to represent the organization in a professional way. But I don't think there's no like set of rules like don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. It's just you are expected to present yourself in a professional manner and promote falconry in a positive way. So that's how I read
it. Aaron's making faces and Aaron's being funny. Okay. No, just there was I don't know if we want to call it a council member or individual in NAFA that was engaging in petty, I don't want to say attacks, but it kind of was an attack because it was sarcasm directed at another falconer, and then everybody piled in, and it became like a bash session against an individual. And it was kind of like it was a little unbecoming of a falconry NAFA, higher up to conduct themselves that way.
Interesting.
And I don't care.
Picking up what you're putting down on,
Well, I don't really want to say. Right, I don't really want to say or throw anybody under the bus. It was just not. It was just not like a professional thing. I just think NAFA, like, just to be honest with you, like I know you're saying NAFA, they want to be in tune with what's going on. I really don't think they are. I don't think they are. I think that they wait for something to become big enough where they have to address it, like a meme. That then the Audubon Society starts sending letters, and then that whole thing, and then they step in and take it down, and it becomes this whole thing. I just think the general, and I mean this with all due respect, because I know NAFA does good work, but it just kind of seems like it's like a club of like us versus them, and it just kind of seems that way, like just based off of what I see and what I hear from people. On the, it's like you have to be cool. Like if you're not in NAFA, you're not cool. And there's people that like don't want to be cool and they don't want to be part of NAFA. And it's like, the whole thing with John Gilbert, you probably listened to that episode. He was the former Northeast director, and he's a great guy. He's just doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was, we went out and we had 3 first-year goshawks out in the field. We all scored. One of those birds got its first rabbit that day, and we just had a beautiful picture with the sunset. And he wanted to put it in in his report, and he couldn't put it in the report because 2 out of the 3 people in the picture weren't NAFA members. And and I understand that.
I don't think there's any rules that you can't put it in. I don't know why he made that decision to.
Well, he said that it's not appropriate to put it in there if they're not members.
No, I mean, I've put pictures of non-members. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just saying there's like a vibe, where then like, the whole meme thing that kind of like turned people off, where it's like, like what the hell are they even doing? But then they come out of the woodwork to like go after a meme.
To regulate social media and stuff.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. You're very vocal about getting involved in a meme, but you're not vocal about like what you're actually doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I called James on the phone about it, Maynard, who's NAFA's legal counsel.
Uh-huh.
And I called him on the phone and I said, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, what is this? And then James actually, well, first of all, he's an extremely good lawyer. So he swayed me over the phone because he's like, oh, you have no idea what was going on. He goes, we had the Audubon Society. We had this overseas, the IAF. We had like 6 different agencies attacking us, saying this is the way you conduct yourselves in America. This is what you do. Da, 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 da. And James was like fielding all these things with letters and phone calls and basically trying to get the whole thing like this was a misunderstanding. It was just a joke somebody made that they shouldn't have made. And I didn't even realize that that's kind of what NAFA does, which was actually really cool. I said, James, well, why don't you go on, this is before we started the podcast. I said, why don't you go on one of these podcasts and explain that? and he kind of said that he can't for whatever reason, and it's got to be all done through the proper channels.
Okay.
And I just think that there needs to be, like, instead of posting like 50 pictures of the fucking hawk chalk, hawk chalk is now on online. Hawk chalk is now available for members. Happy Canada Day. How about we post like some person that's like some cute girl or some professional speaking guy that's a member of NAFA higher up and say, so today, this is what we did. We had to do this. We did this. We're writing this paper, and just do like a little reel that's like 30 seconds long and put it out there. Like what NAFA's doing. Like, is there a budget for that? Can we start doing that?
Sounds like Casey wants to volunteer, Tyler.
I think so. You're really good.
I ain't trying to volunteer, bruh. I know how long it takes to make these videos.
Yeah.
It's a pain in the neck to make these videos. But like, and the same problem is going on in the falconry fund, because we had me and Aaron and a couple other, we went ratting with one of the, is it the president, Aaron?
No, a board member.
A new board member of the Peregrine Fund. And he was explaining to us the same kind of things that are going on. How can we make this organization more relevant? How can we get more donations for conservation? How can we get this stuff out there? Mm-hmm. And I said, well, and I made a stupid joke that oh my God. Well, we were up till 5 o'clock in the morning killing rats. And then we met at his facility at 8 in the morning, 7. And I was like so tired. I made the most off color joke that I should not have made it.
No, that's definitely one of our strategic planning goals, I think, is to, definitely improve our social media presence. I mean, the reels and stuff like that, that people have now is just, that's the way to go. I mean, you can grab somebody's attention. If you can just grab somebody's attention for 20 seconds, just give them a brief rundown of what's going on, and add, to have some value to it. Just, I think that's definitely, and we do have a social media team. It's just really finding
team. How many people does it take to make one post about the hawk chalk going online?
They're sweating right now.
That's the guy who's making the hawk chalk, likely. But
I get it costs a lot of money for the hawk chalk, but the hawk chalk, I don't know. I'm just trying to think I'm trying to help you guys, because I'm like, let's get the word out there. Let's get all the young guys fired up, young girls fired, the young they-thems fired up about joining NAFA, and let's grow this thing, because 1,400. How many falconers are in the United States? 5,000, 4,000.
4,500 to 5,000. Yep.
Yeah. So you're not even cracking like 25% of the numbers. So there's a reason for that. So let's try to make this easier for people to join. Number one, because that's my problem.
Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I did a study. Yeah. Like a year ago, I called pretty much every state agency. I'm like, how many falconers are in your state? And I got the answer to pretty much every state. And then how many NAFA members we have, the percentage within each. And then I started, running demographics and everything. Shit, I don't have it on. I can find it. I'll give you like loose numbers and stuff. Yeah, but I'd say 2/3 of our membership is over the age of 60. I'd say. So it's you notice these trends. And then more people have joined in the past. I don't want to start misquoting myself here. I'm going to try to find it, but shit. We can come back to that.
I misquote myself all the time, so don't worry. Don't worry about it. So that's cool that you did that. See, that's cool that you called, because I thought about doing that just for my own knowledge, or make a video or a reel about it, just like how many falconers there are, how many are in each state, and for you guys it would make sense, because if there's 150 falconers in the state and like 3 of them are NAFA members, like that's
right. And what state?
You're missing out. You're missing out on that potential membership dues, and that could help make the meets even better. Have meets that are not 70 hours away from the East Coast. You could do more things that involve more people, because I never went to a NAFA meet as a kid, because I was a member for probably 15 years. And I was never able to get to a NAFA meet because I was a young homeschooled kid. We didn't have a lot of money, and there's no way I could get out to a NAFA meet that's across the country. And there was never any within driving distance. There probably was, but they're not marketed the same way that the main big meets are marketed. So
absolutely.
I get it. Everyone wants to kill jacks, and we want to do this and that, but it just seems like the whole organization. There's another complaint. the organization is like geared. Aaron's smiling. It's geared around like the western part of the country, and the East Coast is kind of just like an afterthought. Hey, yeah, whatever. We'll throw a little satellite meet down in North Carolina in 2026. That'll be fun. That'll be good. Eat that. Have fun. But if you want to come to the real meet where it's fun, you got to drive 40 hours across the country and risk your birds dying in the back of your truck and make 10 stops and take 10 days off of work. It's kind of like, it kind of alienates a huge majority of the country.
It can. I mean, the people on the periphery, because there's guys driving from Washington, California that drive just as far as we do. So I think, they try to, make the meets everywhere, within, a central location somewhere within those central states, usually. That's really, game for most types of falconry to do there. You got space, you got public, you got the walk-in hunting areas, you got, more game and, stuff there. The states, they generally have pretty good regulations for out-of-state falconers coming, except for Colorado, which we can't go back to Colorado because you got to get all these like import permits.
Colorado is complete trash and complete garbage, and that needs to be addressed also. If you go to Colorado, you have to like quarantine your bird for like 10 days before you can fly it. And then to bring it out of the state, you have to like quarantine it again. So if you want to go to Colorado and catch, a red squirrel in the mountains, it's like it's like a month, if you follow the letter of the law, it's like a month ordeal to do it legally. Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Colorado. Yeah. So we can never have one in Colorado, but the other states pretty much, Kansas, Nebraska, Texas, Oklahoma. Those are the big ones that the ones that I've been around for really. So out of state hunting permits and, not required any other special permits for falconries and falconers and stuff to come in there. They have generally good regulations. And then also, it's just kind of traditionally been held there, which I know isn't what you want to hear, but it's, that's just, it's a central location for everybody. And you really got to look at where the membership is. I understand. I've seen people from, New Jersey and, New York drive all the way from there. It takes them 2 days to get there.
No, and I get it. And it's like a special thing and, this and that. But it does kind of feel like if you want to be part of NAFA, of NAFA in a physical sense, it requires this huge commitment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot. Yeah.
And it kind of like, I'll pay my dues. I'll get the hawk chalk, every month or every quarter or whatever it is. But then if I really want to like get involved, now it's like a 10-day ordeal for me to get involved and be part of this. Why not have 2 meets or a satellite meet or 2 meets a year? Like, I don't know what the budget is. If the whole budget is spent on one meet, then I get it. But if there's a budget at the end of the meet from raffle items and stuff like that, why not have a secondary meet somewhere closer so the other half of the country can kind of get there? And I understand what you're saying, guys. I understand what you're saying.
Land access is a big thing.
In New York. What is it?
Land access, to your point earlier, is a huge thing because that's the meet that we're assuming still happening here in North Carolina, the Southeast Regional Meet. That's a big thought, is getting access to land down here because there's not a whole lot of public land here.
Right. Yeah. No, that's definitely something you got to consider. Yeah. There's a lot more public land out in, central United States.
Yeah.
And in New Jersey, they just trespass, Tyler. They don't care.
That's what I do.
If it has an LLC next to it or a corporation on the Onyx, you're not trespassing. I got news for you.
That's right.
That's stolen land as far as I'm concerned. You know that, and Aaron, the mound
mailing address is 3 states away. Then that's yours.
All the Jersey Falconers and guys that have been and girls that have been to that meet, the mound spot I think is gone. Nobody wants to hear that.
We've got reporters on the scene. They're going to get back with us.
Yeah, we do. We got live reporters. Imagine that, Aaron. We just go live to one of our. That'd be sweet. Hey, listen, in the future. No, but
you hear beeping in the background. We're here live.
Live at the mound as a bulldozer's just pushing down hundreds of rabbits. Yeah, because it's literally gone, Aaron. That spot that's been there for 10 years, it's gone. They leveled it.
You knew it was
coming, but it's sad, and I understand that you can't have 400. How many people go to the NAFA meet? Another question. What's on average?
About 300, usually about 300 or so.
300.
I think, yeah, that's how many usually register. Yeah.
Jersey had like 200 last year alone. What are we doing here, bruh? You guys got this huge giant club and only 300 people are showing up.
Well, hindrances. Sometimes they do it.
Casey.
That's a long ass drive. Sometimes they do it during Thanksgiving week. Some people like it when it's Thanksgiving week because they don't have to take off time from work. Some people don't like it because they'd rather be at home with their families. But then there's old falconers who don't have families. They just go.
Yeah. Why not do two meets? Why not just do two meets?
Because the season's short, I think, and you got to plan around other seasons and stuff. We're having the NAFA meet early this year because of deer season. It's November 9th through the 14th.
I might be able to go. My wife's birthday. My wife.
You're not invited, dude.
I know, that's a good point. I'm gonna
come
go.
Out. You should come out, both of you.
Well, you know what? Listen, the traveling expense is pretty expensive, and me and Aaron have a policy where if you want us to come to your meet, you got to pay for our travel.
Our hotel room.
It's pretty. It's pretty good marketing for us to attend the meet. It's going to cost no, I'm just kidding. We're just kidding. I've been wanting to go. I've been wanting to go to a meet forever. It's just a huge commitment. And then I got married to a woman that's born November 18th. Mm-hmm. And then my son, who was born, is November 17th. So he's the 17th. My wife is the 18th. And that usually falls like right around like their birthdays. And it's like kind of hard to just get away for a full week because you can't just go for a weekend. It's like, you got to go for the whole week.
Oh, you go for the whole week, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially, my wife's birthday is the 23rd, and it's always, if it's that week, then that's hard. That's a hard ask to do. Yeah.
Exactly. So.
All right, Casey, do you want to
keep talking about NAFA? Or, I can, I want to just talk about like kind of what I do and what I'm focused on, really.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, Casey, do you want to continue to berate Tyler about NAFA, or do you want to find out a little bit about him?
No, I want to find out. You're the one who wanted to jump into the NAFA stuff, Aaron. So it's been an hour.
You ran right into
it. You jumped right into it. I was ready to ask, like,
where are my eagles?
Yeah.
Where are my eagles?
I want to catch squirrels with an eagle in North Carolina in the jungle.
That's not. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. That's not what I'm trying to do here.
Yeah,
right?
it is. You're trying to push the boundaries of what falconry can be done to leave your mark.
Trying to change the game.
I feel sad for any eagle that lives on the East Coast.
Dude, if I had an eagle, I'd be killing everything with it. I'd be killing fawns, geese, everything.
House cats.
Oh, yeah.
So, Tyler, you, in addition to being, like I said earlier, a quality Southeast director for NAFA, you are a falconer in the great state of Kentucky. And you were, if I'm not mistaken, were you part of restarting the club in Kentucky?
Yeah, that's that was kind of, I'd say I was. There was a little bit of an effort, probably a year or so before me, but I feel like I kind of really took the reins and kind of picked it up and made it a little bit more inclusive and not to take anything away from the guys who started it, but I think it really kind of came about. There was a couple just little line items being proposed in the state regulation changes, really minor things. Now that kind of saw this need for a collective voice to really kind of speak up. And there was a Kentucky Falconers Association back in the 70s and 80s. It kind of died out. They would have meets and stuff, but it kind of died out a little while after. But then we really kind of revamped the club. I want to say 2017, 2018, that kind of thing. So that's and I really kind of found
right.
Yeah, everything's no. And we got a good club right now. I started out being vice president. I did 2 years there, and then I was president of the club for 4 years. So really saw a lot of positive changes and inclusion and growth in falconry in the state, which was good. And then I kind of handed that role over. As you know, it's a stressful role. And it doesn't need to be stressful. It's just, it's a thankless job.
But people like Casey.
And NAFA feels that way too sometimes, to be honest with you. I mean, I put in probably 8 to 10 hours worth of work, a week and stuff. And, it's a thankless job. It's just, you're just kind of trying to maintain stuff. And then, you have these great ideas with your club, and I want to do this for our state club, and, get everybody involved, and, you get crickets.
Dude, when you have to operate within an organization, it is so hard to get anything done, which is why my heart goes out to you being part of NAFA. As I get, it's not as simple as give Aaron Eagles, give Casey Peregrines. There's way more to it than that. And and I know full and well from both of us running our state organizations. So I'm curious, what is falconry like in Kentucky?
Imagine it's probably pretty similar to what you guys got. I've never been hawking in New York or New Jersey or North Carolina. But I mean, now around here, it's a lot of dirt hawking. Mostly everybody flies red tails, Harris hawks. People get the occasional kestrel. Nobody really long wings around here. The landscape isn't, good enough for it, I don't think. I mean, I think anywhere, east of the Mississippi River, besides, and I don't know every situation, but especially in the Southeast, people do fly peregrines with some success sometimes on ducks, but yeah, around here, it's tough. So for me, I mean, what I found worked, I started flying red tails. I've flown 4 of those. So I've been in falconry. This is my 10th or 11th season, I think. Yeah. So, flown 4 red tails, had a blast with them. And did the traditional, advancement from apprentice to general, and got myself a Harris hawk, and started with that. But then I started with a Harris hawk, and added another one, started flying a cast, year later, and that's been a blast. I love doing that.
Cast for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess my youngest one that I got from the Colsons, she's in her. This will be her 5th season. So
that's quite a while. Usually people kill their Harris hawks before that.
Yeah. And the other one, it's her 7th season. So she's getting up there. I'm starting to notice some differences, and I'm kind of ready for a little bit of a change. Not too big of a change, but I'm considering, just maybe moving transferring the older one and getting a new young one. I love flying a cast. I love, I did it for about 3 years without a dog too. And I just, flying red tails and getting my ass kicked in briars and stuff in the woods. And I knew I needed a dog, and, saw a lot of people running dogs and everything. So I love doing the dog work. Just the whole dynamic of being in the woods with, your 2 birds, 2 dogs, and you're just there in the middle of all that chaos, controlling it is, that's what I really enjoy doing. So,
you're currently running Decker Terriers, aren't you?
Yeah. So last season I had 1 Decker. We ended up adopting like a 1.5-year-old one last year, out of Tennessee from the same breeder we got one of mine from. So I have 3 Deckers right now. One, she's older. She's kind of a pillow princess now. I tried to take her out last season, and she ran like half a mile, and you thought she was like going to freaking die. Like, she was so out of shape. So she even just wanted to run back home. But the great thing, so I run with 1 Decker right now. We got another one. She's about 2 years old now. We got her adopted. Got her from Tennessee, but I think I'm going to get her out in the woods with me this year. I think she's going to be a monster. So they're a lot of fun, doing that. And then, if anybody's been to a NAFA meet and met my dog, Teddy, he's my Australian cattle dog who just kind of, lopes around behind me and doesn't leave my side most of the time, and tries to get out on squirrel chases and barks and stuff. But he has a good time though.
Do you have do you have the dog named Django? Is that you?
No, that's Clint.
Okay.
So that's funny because I was hearing Chris talk about his Deckers. And just how the dog breeds have really just kind of gone, the popularity in these phases and stuff. I think when I first got into it, it was the Dachshunds getting real popular. We had a lot of people in Kentucky get one. That's when Tyler had Zoidberg. So a lot of people started getting out of that line and everything. And then Chris had his big dog. So a lot of people, started picking up on the popularity of Deckers then, I think. And that's when, Django. Django was the first one I saw. He was at a Kentucky meet. So Clint's a Kentucky Falconer. He's got Django. So I have a half sister to Django. And then I ended up getting one from David Wood out of Crowley, Texas, because he was a good looking pup and my wife wanted him. So I wanted to add another one. So I went and got him. And then we liked him so much. Yeah, we added a third. So, yeah.
Do you feel like they're trustworthy around the birds?
Initially, they're different. I don't know. I'd say the females are a little bit. I don't know. They're different. I don't know if it's like if it's just the breeders. Boone, he's my male from David Wood. He's got 3 legs now. He ran all last season with 3 legs. Dude, he was a freaking monster. He did not.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Boone is such a good name too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Boone's a great name.
So,
I was gonna try and name my son Boone, but my wife wouldn't let me.
We thought about naming our son Boone. We call him Buck instead. So that stuck.
That's cool. If I have a daughter, I want to name her Doe.
Nice.
Just kidding. No, I was actually pushing her. I wanted to name my son Accipiter Gentilis Gentilis, but she wouldn't let me.
No, she wouldn't go for that.
Wouldn't happen. Just wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
That's cool. So so there is a little bit of a respect phase that you have to instill on them because of the terrier. Okay.
Yeah, there was just because of the terrier. I mean, it never got violent. They just usually the dog would just get too close and curious, really, and the bird, it usually just took one little, smack. I had a couple issues with Boone. If they, the birds come down with the squirrel, or if they're, on a rabbit and the rabbit's squealing. I mean, Boone will get right in there and try to freaking take the rabbit away from the bird and stuff. And it happened a few times, yeah. But so I was working on that for a little bit. I had a hell of a time my first season when I got my first Harris Hawk, just because I was, my first Harris Hawk, and kind of regrettably, trained it more like a red tail. And so she got kind of aggressive with the dogs initially. She would just like hit my female Decker like all the time. And I was afraid that was going to turn her off. But really that kind of went away after the first year, and just like with a little bit of, work.
Yeah. How did you do that for people out there wondering?
Yeah. So my Harris Hawk, I mean, you get a chamber raised Harris Hawk, it's gonna, it's out there, it's hungry, it thinks it's supposed to kill anything that moves. It's never seen a rabbit before, it's new to the game. So it sees a dog, running through the weeds, it's gonna hit the dog. So it did that like the first time, it kept doing that. So if it happened in the field and she was just kind of like ride it on the back, I mean, I would, pretty aggressively, separate the two, make it a pretty unpleasant experience for the Harris Hawk. Not smack it or punch it or anything like that, but just, basically turn it off and, roll it down the hill almost, just try to.
Yeah, Tyler's winking at us when he said he doesn't smack or punch. He was giving us a little wink. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yes, I mean, listen, sometimes the negative reinforcement really does work, especially with a Harris Hawk, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. And then, like, just throughout, on days we weren't hunting or, afterwards, I would do basically, just try to feed the bird in the yard with the dog around. Basically just put the dog, on a short leash, within close proximity to the bird, feed the bird. I would, keep the dog staked down on a short leash, walk around the bird, or walk around with the bird on my glove, throw tidbits on the ground, have the bird go for the tidbits with the dog there and everything. And, did that pretty repeatedly, basically jump ups and just food rewards with the bird and the dog present. It really kind of clicked the second season, though. It's basically what you needed was, I mean, I normally put my birds up in trees and let them hunt, but I hunted my bird off the fist that day and basically had the dog, close to me. And all it took was for, the bird to watch the dog flush a rabbit, make that call, start, give chase to it. And then the bird had caught rabbits. Then it went and caught the rabbit with the dog present. And after that day, I really did not have any other issues after that. It just kind of made that connection, I guess. So there was, there was a couple suggestions, my sponsor didn't hunt with dogs. I did talk to Clint and some people, and got suggestions. There's the obviously I looked on Facebook, just try to get some recommendations and stuff. So yeah, I tried a little bit of everything, but in the end,
Could you find anybody on Facebook with any opinions about?
Yeah. Plenty. Yeah, that's why I tried like 25 different things, because I was like, well, this guy told me to do this. This guy told me to punch my bird in the face. What the heck should I do? Yeah.
Oh, that was Casey for sure. So
yeah.
What were Decker Terriers bred for? I don't actually know that.
I've heard, okay, so they were originally bred, there's Milton Decker. He was out in Washington. He had a big ass rat terrier, probably like a 40-pound rat terrier. And they used them, I think, for, blood trailing deer originally. So yeah, they could trail, a bleeding deer, and blood tracking. That's what it's called, right? Blood tracking, I think. And I don't know when that was. That was probably back in like the 70s or 80s or so. But yeah, everybody, yeah, I mean, I think just with that dog's, big muscular stature, I mean, they're standard rat terriers. I mean, Decker rat terriers aren't a recognized, separate breed, but, they're larger, they're more muscular. I mean, they're good looking dogs. That's kind of, I mean, I saw, my first one, I was like, that's a damn good looking dog. And, they're cool. But yeah, they're great for falconry, I think, because they work real close. They're great on squirrels. They'll chase rabbits. I mean, mine have decent noses. I'd say Boone, my male, he's better, with squirrels. Just staying engaged in the hunt, basically just staying, close to you. He's not going to go off 200 yards and go tree a squirrel or start chasing one. I mean, they're what you need for falconry, and you need them close. So they're a lot of fun. And I've seen them. We do ratting with ours. Well, I basically just walk into my chicken coop with a shovel and start pounding the ground and wait for mice to come up and let them all go nuts. But that's what I do with them. But so they're a lot of fun, and then they're great in the house. They definitely have like an off switch, which is good. So yeah, they but it's you put them outside and they go to work. They know it's time. I mean, they get just as excited as any other hunting dog. So.
Is there any temptation to try other breeds?
Yeah. Well, we were talking, I mean, just kind of, I stopped at Deckers with like what was popular. What else did we see? I mean, we saw a big, popularity and cockers there for a while. Yog terriers are big. There's a lot of people in Kentucky have Yog terriers.
Used to be Jack Russells.
Yeah. My wife used to breed Jack Russells. We've got one up at the, we've got a few in our family. So yeah, we definitely have a soft spot for the terriers. I love terriers. They just have such, grit and, just that drive, and sometimes it's psychosis, but, the Deckers really don't seem to have that, but they definitely want to work and definitely want to, catch and kill game as well. So
I got a pattern up.
Yeah.
And I would not trust her with, around a bird, especially on a kill.
Mm-hmm.
That's
kind of how I was with this new Decker we got too. She's a little too mouthy.
You got her as a pet, or are you planning on running her?
No, I'm going to hunt her this year. Yeah. So, I mean, I've got her e-collar trained and stuff. And I mean, because she used to just, go nuts after our chickens all the time, would just come back with like a mouthful of feathers and stuff. So I, put her on the e-collar now, and she's behaving a lot better and gets it a lot more. And I've had my birds perched out in the yard with her. She's curious, but I don't see much. But we'll see how she does in the woods, though. So I'm looking forward to that. But another dog I guess dachshunds are kind of back in now, thanks to you guys. It's impressive. I saw Dave Feliciano's dachshund work. We had a lot of fun when we were out in Lubbock at the NAFA meet. I've seen other ones. Yeah, a lot of people in Kentucky have mini dachshunds. I mean, how do they do in the woods on squirrels and stuff? Are they a fast breed? I mean, yeah, they keep up with you guys.
They keep the squirrel moving. They can't catch the squirrel unless it's close quarters and the squirrel, Squirrel. Yeah. Mine have caught squirrels when the squirrel bails out of the tree and a dachshund happens to be right there.
Mm-hmm.
And they've pulled squirrels out of holes before.
But you mainly
But
use them for hole work, right? Or is that the advantage
I
of them, or
don't.
is it their nose?
I don't do hole work because I don't really have holes here. And
Yeah.
strangely enough, in North Carolina, we have groundhogs, but Casey saw some of my fields when he was down here, and he would attest to that there's not really holes like there are up in the Northeast. If you ever hunt in Jersey or New York or Delaware or Maryland, you just encounter holes everywhere. Like they're everywhere. But
Are those burrows or just like sinkholes, like naturally in the
groundhog holes.
Groundhog holes. Okay.
You guys have groundhogs too, I'm sure,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, definitely.
Them damn whistle
we got plenty
pigs.
of holes. Yeah.
Them old whistle pigs.
We got plenty of holes.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's I mean, I've been running dachshunds for 20 years plus. I never realized that it's actually technically illegal to take a rabbit out of there's like some law where you can't harass quarry in its like hiding place or something. Somebody was telling me this, but
once it goes to its hole and it's off limits.
Yeah, something. There's some like up the same thing with like the interpretation thing, where like a game warden could interpret that as like harassing because it's in its burrow, but rabbits they don't make their own burrows. So I think that's kind of like the loophole. But yeah, I mean, my dachshunds, Ginger was the best. Obviously, she's not with us anymore, but she would actively tree squirrels and follow and stare straight up and watch the hunt and run along. And she's killed plenty of squirrels, on the ground and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, a terrier obviously
respond to the dog. If the dog's on it and knows what's going on, does that excite the bird too?
Yeah, and Aaron's probably the same. If any of my dogs ever open at all, the bird is like, just going, looking, or just moving in that direction.
Same here, and vice versa too. I mean, if my birds start laddering up, then the dogs get real excited, and But then,
does the Deckers bark?
A few of them do. Some of them just like kind of whine. If they're on a rabbit, she'll kind of they'll bark a little bit more. I've heard some that do bark when they're on squirrels, but you really kind of got to get them real excited to kind of start the bark. They're not. Yeah, I mean, you can tell they're excited. They kind of just like they got Basenji bred into them too, so they talk a lot. They just like just kind of make these yippy noises and just like like that's a typical terrier thing. But
Basenjis don't like bark in a traditional sense, do they? I think they
yodel. They yodel. Yeah.
I bet Basenjis are a real pain in the ass to deal with. I find the Deckers fascinating. I do think they're good looking dogs. Obviously, they work well because they're very popular with a lot of falconers.
Yeah, especially in the South, I think. Yeah, I mean they're great for squirrels. Aside Chris, I know a few in Oklahoma who have them, but I mean a majority of people with Deckers I know, they are. Yeah, they're in the Southeast. They're pretty popular.
Where's Richard Moats runs one? He's got a really.
That's right.
He's got a good dog.
Yeah, he's got a pretty dog too. Yeah, I forgot where he got his from. Not the same breeder as mine, but yeah, he's got a real pretty dog.
Yeah, I was very impressed with his dog because he always brings it to every meet and brings it in like during the banquet or whatever. And I remember one meet, I'm sitting there and like this little girl that I don't think really knew him that well was like on her knees in front of it, giving it hugs and kissing it and playing with it. And the dog was just like totally chill. And like Richard doesn't have kids or anything like that. And the dog was just enjoying it. Zero body language, was super calm. And I'm like, that's pretty cool because a lot of terriers, they don't like play around like that. Like you kind of have to, and his dog was super relaxed and chill. And so when people are saying that they have this off switch to them, like, as opposed to other terrier breeds, it's pretty, I saw it with my own eyes that they definitely have an off switch.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. They, my brother and sister-in-law, we share, their property's like right next to us. They have a Jack Russell girl and they have a 1-year-old son right now. And they got to keep the Jack Russell pretty much locked up separately from this 1-year-old. But then they'll bring, their little boy down here. And they're just like, my Deckers will like run up to him be like, oh yeah, get your dogs back, and then they just want to sit there and be friendly to them, and wag their tail, and yeah, they definitely you know. And then we have guests over to our house. They'll just like go sit next to them on the couch and just chill.
I don't trust like that with dogs and kids. It scares me.
No, you never know. Absolutely. No,
Not
I'm not
worth
gonna
the risk.
No.
I got my youngest, and yeah, like even with Franny, like Franny's like a lunatic. So when she loves to give the baby kisses and play with him and stuff, but I'm like, dude, Franny's like a weirdo. Like I don't trust Franny. I don't trust Franny with anything.
Or when you asked me to pick her up, I pick her up and she's like biting at me the whole time. I'm just like kind of dodging her and kind of just moving her gently, like to avoid being bit by her.
Yeah, she's got something wrong with it. She'll bite me. Like every night I put her in the kennel, like she'll try to bite me through the bars. It's so weird. And then the second you open the door, she like runs out and rolls over to be pet. But when you close the door, I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah. I let my mom watch her when we were on vacation, and ever since then, my mom swears that she was like that when I dropped her off, and I don't believe it. I think my mom did something.
Yeah, Mama Sue beat her.
Mama Sue did something. But yeah,
pinched her foot in the door or something.
Yeah, and Maggie's this.
Yeah, I got a cattle dog, and he's I wouldn't. He gets nippy sometimes. Like if you accidentally walk too close to him or try to kick him off the bed. Yeah, you got to watch it. They nip at you. But that's just the herding dog instincts.
So Tyler, Kentucky's a pretty big state on the East Coast for hunting elk, isn't it?
Yeah, they do a lottery every year. It's a pretty big thing every year. So yeah, they have some released populations. The ones you can hunt are on the east end of the state. They release them on the top of old strip mines up there.
Any aspirations to fly anything else?
Always. I see what everybody else is doing, and I'm like, damn, that looks fun. Like, and I want to be ready for anything new that I want to take on. I definitely want to take on, new birds, new challenges. It's just, I almost just kind of tend to overthink things sometimes. Is this going to work here? Am I going to have the time to do it? When I think we all pretty much got into falconry, we're all asking ourselves the same thing. And, you pretty much just got to say, fuck it and just do it, just start moving, making those steps. But, definitely. I love doing, what I'm doing with the Harris Hawks right now. Like I said, I've been flying these two for, a few seasons, kind of looking for something else. I want to, like, if I'm going to get a Goss, I want to see it done more in landscapes similar to what I got, which is, thick brush, with, trees. That's where I like to hunt. I don't want to just walk around in a field of goldenrod, for miles and miles, like looking to flush a rabbit under my feet kind of thing. So yeah, I see what you guys do. And goshawks are freaking beautiful. And I think, they're one of the most beautiful hawks there are. And just to, I know there's different training nuances and everything else you got to do. And that's something, I'm going to have to expect and prepare for. So I want to, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right.
This is my recommendation for you. If you want to try a goshawk, is a parent reared female Finnish bird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Okay. Give me the reasons for parent reared Finnish and female. Why are those three important?
Well, because Seth Roy is a sponsor of the show first and foremost.
Of course. I've talked to Seth actually. I talked to him last year.
So parent reared are, so you're dealing with, Casey can help me with this, but my first successful goshawk was a parent reared Finnish female, and you're dealing with fear rather than aggression with them. And what I mean is, if with an imprint, you're dealing with aggression, and with every other bird that you've ever trained, unless you've raised an imprint, you're dealing with the fear. So, whether it's a passage redtail or a chamber raised Harris hawk, some level of fear, you're dealing with that. And something about those European birds, I don't know if Casey has suspicions that it might be like generations, thousands of years of being used in falconry has developed what we have now, but they're just more even keeled. So if you add a splash of North American in, my experience is you get a much more nervous, flighty bird. So chamber raised female Finnish bird is pretty close to a passage red tail in my experience.
Really? Yeah. Because you pull them out about how old? How old are they when you pull them out of the
Casey,
chamber?
do you know how old they are? What, 13, 14 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, I want to say no. I want to say like 8 weeks.
Really? Okay.
Hold on. Yeah, like 80 days ish. A little bit before that, right before hard penning.
Okay.
Like right before hard penning, you're pulling them out, so they don't really know anything. They don't have any bad experiences. They don't have any negative interactions with humans. It's just like they get caught up in the dark. They have a hood on their head, and then all of a sudden, this person's feeding them, and then it becomes like this is just what their life is, and then they kind of mold to it. And I would follow on with what Aaron's saying that the female just has more of a bully mentality, confidence mentality, where they're they're going to run the situation. They're going to bully everybody around them. That's their natural instinct. So that adds to helping the process go smoother because, like Aaron said, there's fear with it. But then when you add the female in, there's also this bully, I'm in charge mentality, which helps counteract the fear a little bit. So any tiercel, no matter the subspecies, European, North American, they're always going to be more high strung and more fearful just because of their position in the ecosystem. So if your first goshawk, I would definitely agree with Aaron. Your first goshawk should be, I don't know if it's a chamber bird. If you don't care about screaming or anything like that, then get an imprint. But definitely something European, whether it's like a Finn cross, albidus, or a Finnish bird, they're just way calmer. Like
with that bullying mentality and stuff, though. I mean, how does that play in to its interaction with you or with its dog, with your dogs and stuff?
As long as you do it right, you don't need to worry about it. They can become very familiar with you and very aggressive with you if you do things wrong.
Yeah.
But they still have that fear because they know they're a goshawk. They don't think they're a human like we don't know what imprints think they are.
Right.
Imprints don't really respect you much though. But those chamber raised, parent reared birds, they respect you. So there's that. But Casey could tell you from my parent reared that I had a couple years ago, she was a damn puppy dog, dude. I could strangers could pet her on the kill. I could get in there barehanded and choke out squirrels. She was just super docile and easygoing.
Has there been the whole parent reared imprint? I mean, I know imprints have been around for a long. I mean, people have been using imprints for a long time, but is the parent reared goshawk concept, is that relatively new, or people have been doing that just as long as
Vic Hardiswick and Lance Christensen started doing it in Iowa. Vic Hardiswick's no longer with us. Lance still is. Lance isn't doing as much anymore. And then Seth Roy is doing it now in Pennsylvania. And he is, I don't want to say he's a student of Lance, but they're good friends. And Seth has, Seth and Lance are on the same page with what needs to happen to create good parent reared birds. So I definitely think that that's a good first goshawk to get.
Yeah. See, I want to see it done more, in the kind of way I like to hunt. The way I like to hunt, I just, I pull up to my spot. I got 90 acres next to me. I mean, I just, I'll get my birds out of their mews and I'll walk, 100 yards over my woods, or I'll drive to my spot. I walk into the woods, I put my birds up, I start walking, they're right there with me. I mean, most goshawk experiences I've had are, you pull your bird out, it's screaming at you, like, okay, everybody got to be quiet. Wait, take your hat off. Like he doesn't like hats. Like, okay, well, maybe you're too tall. I don't know about you. Just hang back for a little bit. Let's all walk. Everybody walk on my left side now. And no, don't get too far ahead. And then, the bird just like slips off after nothing and goes in a tree 300 yards away. And then it's like, okay, everybody wait here. I gotta go get my lure. And then call them down and come back. Like, okay, well, I guess she's a little heavy now. So we'll put her back and let her reset. That's just a lot of work.
That's not too unusual, but if you do it right, you should be able to pull that bird out with strangers, let her go up in the tree. She'll follow everybody through the woods. You get squirrels moving, she'll hit the squirrels. You flush a rabbit, she'll smash the rabbit. That's
absolutely what I want. I mean,
yeah. I've never had any problems, and Aaron also, I guess, with that chamber bird. I never had any problems with any of my birds following. They follow as like a red tail. Oh yeah. In the trees. Yeah. Oh yeah. And if the dog makes one noise, one peep, if she hangs back a little bit, I pull some vines. She's like moving right up because she knows. Yeah, they follow pretty well, and it's really easy to. It's not as hard as. I guess there's like a thing where people say goshawks don't follow, but I think that's a bunch of BS.
I think it's the old off-stringer mentality too. Like you got to hunt them from the fist. You got to do all this different stuff. And I don't know enough about it to really speak on it. But it sounds like I need to come hang out with you guys.
It's way cooler to catch something from the fist. And if you can, but from the trees is with rabbits and stuff like that. Hunting a goshawk from the trees is basically like cheating. I mean, it's just
you don't have a chance.
They don't really have a chance. If the rabbits in any type of open terrain, I mean, they're pretty much done for. Unless you're flying a bird named Helga, that's super clumsy and too big for her britches. And that bird was just too big.
It makes no sense to me why the bird would be on your fist if there's trees around you that are taller than you.
It's the tradition of it, and
and goshawks are forest birds. Like they were, they evolved in the forest. They evolved. That's where they like to fly.
Other than the Russian birds, which are, they hunt on tundras and all. But you're not going to see a wild goshawk out in the open prairie of Kansas,
right?
Hunting rabbits.
Well, you may during migration you'll see them. Those awesome stories of guys flushing pheasants, and a passage goshawk just comes from like 100 yards behind him and 200 yards in front of him.
Overtakes them.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is, what was it? Chris Starr was running his mouth on that episode saying Harris hawks can fly in any place. Like a goshawk can fly in any place, in my opinion. Literally any place.
Yeah.
Red tails can fly in any place.
Red tails can fly anywhere because red tails are everywhere.
Yeah, they can adapt to pretty much any scenario. And like we talked about with George from Florida, hunting them from the fist and from T-perches, they adapt quick to whatever you.
There's a guy who hunts squirrels. Yeah, he lives in Florida. He's got a goshawk. He's been hunting squirrels in Florida. That shit's thick down there.
Friend of the show, Scott.
Yeah. I went out with him and his bird last year. Yep.
It
sounds like I need to hang out with you guys. Then I need to come to the meet that you guys are at and watch your all birds.
Tell them the meet to come to, Casey.
I got in trouble for telling too many people. We had too many people. They had to the meet. Literally, they had to kick everybody out. Everybody put their stuff, flipped over their chairs, put their stuff on the tables. They had to kick everybody out of the room, and they had to reconfigure the whole room because we had too many people show up.
That was the Sporting Chance bump.
That was
they were all lined up to sit next to you guys, right?
There's a scientific study, and it's called the Sporting Chance bump, where if we say something on the show, then there was literally there was so many people there. People were mad at us. Like my sponsor was mad at me. He's like, stop talking about the meet on your show because it was literally like a bazillion people were there. It was crazy.
It's like if we start saying we're coming to the NAFA meet, I mean, God, forget about it, right?
Oh man, we're gonna have at least 3,000 people there.
Yeah, but it's 5 billion hours away, so no, we're not.
But then they'll find out John Munier is going to be there, and they'll go, never mind.
Yeah, once they find out John is going to be there, like forget that.
John's there. No, he's going to drive an hour and a half away every day.
Buzzkill. Friggin' Munier. Shout out to John Munier, friend of the show.
Yeah.
He's a kindred spirit.
They call him John. In Indiana, they call him John Manure.
Manure, yeah.
Manure. Yeah. That's good too. I like that one.
I made fun. I was giving him shit one day because he's got a dachshund named Horace, and I was like, "You named your dog Horace Manure." Like horse manure.
That's hilarious. So,
Oh man,
that was great. This is a great episode. I want to see NAFA get more members. I think that 1,400 members is. I think we got to tap into the younger market. I think whoever's doing the social media needs to up their game.
It all starts with the state clubs too. I think that's what I was going to touch on that point as well. One thing that I'm a big proponent of, just with my history of and my experience with, starting and running a state club, is that's, I want to say I'm an expert at it, but that's really just, I feel like I can lend kind of some, advice and expertise, to some of our members and some of the local state clubs. That's really something I kind of want to keep working on there. Last week I had a Zoom call. We had, I think, like 15 officers from our region's state clubs just on it. We had Alabama there, we had North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. What else? We had Virginia, a lot of other states. And it's just, kind of just an opportunity for, all these state club officers just to kind of come together. Each state club is kind of at their own, level of advancement and, organization and stuff. So it's a good opportunity just to kind of share ideas, what's working for them, what's working for, what's not working, how they can, kind of recruit new members. And that's really what I want to keep doing is helping out state clubs and forming those relationships with, state clubs, not just on behalf of NAFA, but, for myself as somebody who's, been through it before and, I know, quite a bit of people and can put them in touch with the right folks. And just, I've seen, like state clubs just kind of, advance really fast, because some are like, how do we collect dues? Or, how do we hold a meet? How do we do all this stuff? And it's just like, well, this is, what's worked for me. And, you get everybody in one place and you can get there and share ideas and stuff. So that's one thing I really like what I'm doing.
I think that's an extremely good use of NAFA's. Well, at least if NAFA did that across the board, that would be a very good use of their time as an organization.
It starts with the states. I mean, because most of these issues and stuff that come up, are at a state level. Any regulatory changes and stuff, of course, there's federal shit that comes up. They're trying to, there's talk about rewriting the equipment regulation or the equipment requirements and stuff. That was one other thing. We had, the Animal Welfare Act and the APHIS thing came out, in 2021, and about what's required for keeping birds and stuff, and it didn't really exempt falconry from it. But NAFA worked and be like, falconry is already regulated. We know, we already have our requirements. We don't need to be included in this. And I think that saved a huge headache for, a lot of folks.
So NAFA was instrumental in that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. We definitely were, not involved, but definitely made the right calls and contacts and, basically pointed out, that we did not need to be under that umbrella, for other bird care and stuff.
No, I heard about that. I don't remember the full details on that thing, but I remember it was going to be like a nightmare for falconers if it went through. It was like you got to like trim your birds like wings or some stuff. Like they can't fly free. They got to have this, that, and the other thing. You got to register. It was like all this craziness, and I'm like, dude, screw. I hope this doesn't.
I didn't read all of them, but I mean, it's basically like your facilities that you have to have, like indoor plumbing, pretty much like running water, and I mean now
it's like that.
Yeah, give me some, give me some business.
Yeah. The way you transport them, some with like the giant hoods had to be, different, like the size of them, I think, and like the air hole openings, which would not, it was basically just letting light in, and the function of a giant hood would just not exist anymore. That was another thing. But that was under the Animal Welfare Act.
We got 5.
Go ahead. So at state club levels, but I think a lot of the issues and stuff come up at a state club level, and sure, NAFA's there to offer experience and expertise and advice, kind of how to navigate these things. But really, nothing's going to happen. No changes are going to happen within a state. If some national organization, busts in there and be like, "We're NAFA, you're doing this wrong." It's going to come from, the residents of that state, and that state organization. They need to have a collective voice. They need to have organization. I mean, I'm there to kind of help, navigate those situations, and NAFA's definitely, lends, their hand in that. But really, the legwork's going to need to be done by those state clubs. And every state club needs to have kind of a strong foundation, when these kind of things come up. So,
Yep, agreed, 100%.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, your willingness to come on and be a good sport. And like I'd said,
it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, we were reserved.
You've been a good Southeast director. And maybe you could be. I think the organization would be better off if you were president one day.
Don't say that, dude. No.
I hope you'll
be president. You gotta speak long wing, and you gotta know freaking every.
That's Casey's point. There's like a bias. There's a long wing West Coast.
I'm an idiot from Kentucky, dude. I don't know like half of what goes on, to the west of me. I don't. Yeah. I mean. Like I said, my strengths are with, running it and, making it a social organization and helping out with the state clubs. That's where my, expertise and enjoyment goes. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a regulatory, person. I know a good amount about it, but it takes a lot of work, and it takes, some good, smart people to do it. And it's like a full-time job to run as, to be president of it. I'd say a part-time job. You spend a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm going to volunteer you for that.
Thanks. You don't get to volunteer me. The board does, right?
Yeah, which I'm not a fan of that either. I think members need to pick that.
Yeah, that's different. That's just kind of the way it's always been. I mean, the board is definitely elected. It's weird. Yeah, like, the board members are voted on. The president and the officers serve at the pleasure of the board. It's kind of what's always been said. So really, I mean, the president's not an authoritarian, it's not a dictatorship. It's really run by the board, and the president serves as what the directors think is best, really. So,
yeah, if it's a membership organization, though, I think the membership should really have a say across the board, so to speak. But we'll get in the weeds
getting
again.
Enough people to step up and actually have real elections and get on the board.
We talked about that on one episode. Remember that? That was so funny. Where we would host like the NAFA debate and have two candidates like get up there and start debating with each other. It'd be hilarious.
I love it.
Yeah. Tyler, we volunteered to do that if it ever.
Yeah,
if
we'll put it on.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks. Love to see it.
All right. So, for those of you out there, if you want a voice within NAFA, if you want to have any kind of influence, I do encourage you guys to join. Casey says no.
No, I do encourage you to join. I just want clarification on what they're doing and if they're still fulfilling their commitment that was made, 30 years ago when it was founded. That's my position, basically.
These next 3 years will be the test.
60 years ago.
60, that's right. That's that's a long time.
They had their 60th. Yeah, they had the 60th NAFA meet. Yeah, it was formed in the early 60s. Yeah,
that's crazy. Yeah,
I'm happy to talk about that with you guys more. Or, yeah, that's
with guys like Tyler and Jimmy G out there. Maybe there's some hope.
Yeah, I think there's definitely hope. I think they're doing work. And Tyler, man, I've heard a lot about you and stuff, and like passing conversations. So it was great to meet you and talk with you. And we appreciate your time. Yeah, we weren't gonna. Everyone's all scared we're going to attack people, but it was just a good conversation, man. It was good.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it.
Get stuff out in the open for potential, members of NAFA. Get stuff in the open, talk about it, and that's important for everything.
No, that's all I'm all about it. Cause I listen to you guys. I really, enjoy the stuff that you guys are putting out, and I'm hearing some things. I'm like, I need to kind of clear some stuff up here. So,
do you listen to Falconer Chronicles by any chance?
With Manure?
Yeah. Who's better?
All right, everybody. Have a good one.